Who would have thought that we would stand here today?
You can take your seats, the guests.
I'm a lawyer, it might take a little longer. So. Who would have thought that we would stand here today when I traveled from Singapore to Manila on the 9th of August 2014? Who would have known on that day that we would be now living happily together, only a stone throw away from where we met? Until today, I very much treasure that moment. From the very first second, it felt like I had known you all my life. And we talked and talked and talked. Later, when I was in Singapore, we talked over the phone. And for people who know me, I'm normally not a very talkative person. Hey. I'm so thankful having found my soulmate, my princess. From the very start, you brought out the best in me. Since then, only 3.5 years have passed, but there were plenty of things that we experienced together. Our first concert and the F1 event, where the manager of Jennifer Lopez invited her to be part of the VIP area because she danced so crazily around. Numerous frisbee tournaments all around the world. A long-distance relationship that, given the amount of times we traveled back and forth, sometimes didn't feel like one. There was one time when you traveled from Manila to Singapore that was 12 hours. So she flew in very late at night. We had breakfast together, and right after that, you had to go back to Manila. A big step was, of course, moving together in Singapore, starting a new life in Manila, skiing down a huge mountain on your very first day on skis, the engagement, which was not too far away, just here at Lagen, and of course the registration of the marriage just this summer. I'm so thankful for all that, and many, many more thanks. And as I said, you bring the best things out of me, my lucky star. I'm not done yet. As I said, I'm a lawyer. I have a second pitch. Thank you in particular for always cheering me up and encouraging me, taking my worries away. This kind of a professional habit for me, always planning ahead, thinking what might go wrong. Good for my clients, sometimes not so good for me. You're kind of the opposite. Cheerful, only forward-looking, very social. That's why I think we balance each other perfectly. In many areas where we are different, simply the perfect balance. Thank you also for understanding me when I need my quiet moments, for better scaling my work-life balance, for being with me, bearing with me when I have to work long hours or be late because of work, laughing at my jokes. I promise and I vow, and again as a lawyer I have to say, there is no fine print attached to that. I will always stand by your side in good and even more so in bad times. That I won't be so grumpy when your high energy level in the morning wakes me up very early. I promise I have to be careful how to phrase that. I promise I will drink a little less of that heavily sweet chocolate drink with less ice and no whip. Thank you for becoming my wife. I love you.
They say love happens when you least expect it. Even though we vaguely met back in 2010 in Singapore Ultimate Open, it was only 4 years after, in 2014, like what you said earlier, when we saw each other again. And it might have been a very simple, typical Saturday morning for many, but I believe that nothing in that morning was an accident. I've heard from our common friend that you're in town, but you know, we literally bumped into each other in the cafe in my neighborhood by accident. So, what are the chances, right? You just came out of a long relationship, and also at that time, I was at the stage when I realized that I deserve much more, and I've come to fully love myself. So I also believe that love happens when it's time, and like what you said, there could be no more perfect timing than that. Right from the start, we felt the chemistry. We may not be perfect, but each of us complement each other. You make me laugh. You make me more patient. You make me become the best of me. I promise to love you until we are old. But you can't die before me, okay? I promise to be more patient with a lot of things, and I think that's it is the only thing that my mom told us before we got married in June. Be more patient, patient, patient. I promise to play ultimate frisbee with you until our knees can take it, or until your ankle recovers. I promise to take care of you and our future children. I love you, babe, with my heart and soul.